legend of Skarda has been inherited by his son, the Demon Slayer, Dante.
Devil May Cry 2 was released in 2003 and is of course the sequel to Devil May Cry. Now, much like the original Devil May Cry, because the original Devil May Cry was intended to be Resident Evil 4 but then span off into its own unique wonderful thing, Devil May Cry 2, apparently it was actually cobbled together within 4 months from the remains of what would have been a Tomb Raider game. And it does feel like that, I gotta be honest. I smashed through the story in one day. It took about 3 hours or so. It's not an overly long game, but I couldn't tell you what the hell the story is at all in the slightest. Now, I'm only captured footage from the first level and a little bit of the second level because I played it on my Steam Deck, and unfortunately the Devil May Cry HD collection on Steam has no Steam Cloud support. So my even though I've unlocked all the Steam achievements and stuff for completing the game, I haven't got my save on the PC, which is very annoying. Some games do work, some games don't work. That's a bit of a downside with the Steam Deck. However, Devil May Cry 2 is not a terrible game, but unfortunately it's not as good as the first game. And for many, many reasons. The main one being Dante himself. He's very boring. He's not... he doesn't throw one-liners out. He's not entertaining in the slightest. He's super serious and quite quiet. There's not a lot of dialogue and talking in the game itself. And there also isn't many cutscenes. And it... like I said, the story is very hodgepodge and put together. Now, there's a new character called Lucia, I think I'm pronouncing her name correctly. You can play as her as well. I haven't, I just played as Dante, and I don't think I'll be revisiting Devil May Cry 2 anytime soon anyway, because whoever designed some of the levels in this game needs a swift kick in the dick. There are some really terrible levels and some really terrible boss fights. Some of them I just used the guns, just the weapons to do, and especially with the last boss as well, it's just not done very... It's not great. It's not done very well. Put it that way. Is it worth playing if you want to get through the Devil May Cry series? I'd say yes, but you can just go straight from Devil May Cry 1 to Devil May Cry 3. Now, I have started Devil May Cry 3, and I'll get that one done very soon as well, and then 4. I'll redo 5. I did play 5 originally when it came out, and I'll play the remake DMC as well, and make videos on all that too. But Devil May Cry 2 lacks in a lot of areas, and unfortunately is the lowest point in the Devil May Cry series. The combat was incredibly simplified and is just not interesting. There's only a couple of extra weapons that you can get for Dante. Yes, you can still collect red orbs and upgrade his weapons and stuff, but in terms of unlocking new moves and whatnot, not really. You can't do that, which is a shame. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, the weapons can be incredibly overpowered, especially if you activate Devil Trigger, and then you can just shoot the crap out of everything. There was one specific boss as well, which is just an infected helicopter, and all you do is just keep moving and ascend up a building while shooting this helicopter. Now, in theory, that sounds pretty cool. The level is continually evolving as you're progressing and fighting the boss. However, when you're just shooting it, it's quite boring. And it really does grate on you. Luckily, it's not too bad. It's not too long. However, there really isn't much else in Devil May Cry 2 to talk about that is positive, in all honesty. Yes, the graphics are slightly better, but like I said, story-wise, you get some also... You'll know him when you see him. He looks like a budget Heiichi from Tekken. I don't know why he was there. I don't know why he was a villain, but you fight him a couple of times, and that was interesting. There's also a level which really sucks, the big one, where there's like lightning around and skulls floating around an orb, and you have to destroy these diamonds, and you can't lock onto them, so you have to try and randomly do it, but then you get shocked, and it's very, very frustrating. It's not so much like the first game where there was a little bit of frustration, but overall was actually a solid game. This game was mainly frustrating. Like I said, it's not terrible, but it's 100% not the sequel that the first game deserved. However, after starting Devil May Cry 3, that one is much better from the get-go. I did play Devil May Cry 3 way back in the day, and I've forgotten everything about it, to be honest, so that's why I'm replaying it. And Devil May Cry 3 is a massive improvement, but I'll talk about that on the next one. But let me know down below if you've played Devil May Cry 2, or if this is one that you've not played. As like I said, if you want to play through the Devil May Cry series, it's worth playing at least once. It's not overly long, like I said. There's 18 missions, and some of them are quite short, some of them are just boss battles, but prepare for some frustration. That's all I'm going to say. But as always, thank you very much for watching.